Okay, hello guys, welcome. I am Tree, as you already know, and this is Christine. This is who I work with and who has brought us over onto her family's land and on her land to allow for us to farm and garden there. And today, what we are doing is we are showing you guys our process of canning these beautiful, trying to make sure I don't burn myself, they're fresh, jars of salsa here. So this is what we were able to create today in our batch here. And we're gonna go and go over the recipe, the ingredients, and you're gonna see us do a little bit of everything from chopping the stuff up, cleaning them, everything. I know that wasn't in order, but it'll be in order when you see it, okay? So thank you, and we appreciate you guys tuning in and joining us. And if you got something to say about how we do our process, then keep scrolling. This ain't for you, okay?
All right, so we're gonna take the skins off of these, which means that we dunk them in a boiling pot of water for 1 minute. And what you want to do is you want to allow that water to get up under the skin and separate that skin so it kind of peels off. So you pour the tomato, take out the core, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna put an X just right there on the bottom of the tomato, and then we'll dunk them in the hot water.
So as she is finishing up the coring and cutting of the tomatoes, and you see our other vegetables on the other side of the sink, I'm going to take them over to the cutting station and finish chopping them up. Basically just cutting the insides out and just cutting them up enough for me to use the chopper that's on the station there and finish chopping them up that way. I had already completed the chopping of the onions, which is already in the pot on the other side of the chopping. And as I am finishing up the chopping process of the bell peppers, you will see me add them to the pot. I might have even taken it out of the shot, to be quite honest with you, but here is Christine chopping up the tomatoes that she finished coring, scoring, and boiling. As she said, she put them in a pot of hot water so that the skins would easily peel off. And then here she is just cutting them all up and adding them to the pot with the rest of the vegetables. For those who are wondering, if you are looking for the recipe, comment below and we will send you the recipe. As you can hear, all of the kids in the background making a whole bunch of noise. We appreciate your patience with that. It's a lot of them back there, so thank you. So Christine is currently boiling the jars in the pot on the stove at this point. This is to sterilize them, and then we will further the sterilization with the drying process by putting them in the oven. The oven is preheated to 200 degrees, and that's what she's doing right now, as she is also tending to the salsa on the stove. So we are going to get those jars boiled on the stove and sterilized, place them in the oven, and then continue the process. We apologize for not getting the process of the salsa being canned. We've stirred the salsa numerous times, and we continue to see us stirring through this process. And at this moment, she is going to go ahead and remove those jars from that big pot that you see on the stove, and she's going to add them into the oven that has been preheated to 200 degrees with the other jars there. Taste testing. Too much dip on my chip. It's double chipped.
Don't get anything right. Like you can't do your signature because you're done.
Think we're on the right track, George? Mm-hmm. Better than the salsa we be buying.
Okay. All right. So I tasted this. I think it needs a little more punch on some areas. I think it needs to be brightened up a little bit. So I'm gonna add some lemon juice. And then I'm gonna hit it all with the seasonings again, which was garlic powder, onion powder, chili powder, oregano, and some salt and pepper. And I'm gonna hit that again because I think it's a little flat. This would add heat. I feel like it's pretty good. It's a good level, particularly for kids. Alright, so we have salsa here. It's up to the top. We've left a little room for headspace, just for like expansion and that sort of thing. We're gonna go in and I'm gonna clean the rims of these these jars with some white vinegar. And this is really just to make sure you don't have any salsa or drippings. They're gonna interfere with the seal that is happening here. All right, now that that's done, we're gonna put the lids on, we're gonna put the bands on, and they go back to the canning pot. Boil the band too. And honestly, I don't think you need to boil the lids, but I do that too. Finger tight. You don't want to over tighten these right at this point because you want to leave room for any sort of swelling or expansion or anything like that. So if you were to like really bear down on it, so just finger tight, it could cause the glass to shatter in the pot, and we don't want that. So the reason why we do all of this sterilizing the jar and the lids and the bands, keeping everything hot, is because we want to avoid any germs in there, because we're trying to keep this for a long period of time. And if you don't sterilize properly, you can end up with some sort of food contamination, and then you could end up getting very sick from eating something that had any germs in it. Okay, so our jars here are going back in the pot for another 15 minutes to heat internally properly and to seal properly. And you want to wait until it's actually boiling to be done. So I'm going to pop the lid back on and let it come up to a boil and then start my timer. Getting off the floor is not as easy. Our timer has beeped for 15 minutes. And by the way, this water is covering all of my jars. I've added just a dash of vinegar to the water. That way your jars don't get cloudy. And we're gonna take off the lid. And we're gonna pull our jars out. So right next to this, I have a towel over here. So I have my towel over here, and I'm gonna pull off my hot jars and set them here to cool. As they cool, we're gonna listen for the pops. We have to count our jars and see how many pops we need to get so that we know that our salsa is canned properly. You can't always trust the fact that this is tight or not, because if you push down on that and it's tight, no wiggling, it should mean it's canned properly, but that's not foolproof. As always, if something looks off when you open a can, don't eat it. Throw it away. So I have my hot jars, so that's 6. And then I'm gonna put the rest back into the pot so they can get sanitized too. And we'll listen for pops. We had a pop, one pop. I tried that one and ate that pop, and I don't want it to be a false pop. So you might have to set this to the side and eat that directly. Oh yeah, by the way, if any of these don't pop, just eat those first and put them in the fridge just like you would normal salsa. That's two. These should be good for 1 to 2 years. They should be self-stable. After 2 years though, you should go ahead and get rid of them. That's why I go ahead and I name and date them. That way you know what's in it and you know how long it has been there. Because if by chance it does happen to remain on the shelf for longer than 2 years, then you're gonna need to get it eaten and gone.